Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Trey back in here to do another video for you. So this one I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to be talking about the Randy Couture versus Lyoto Machida fight, do a review of it, and also talk about the greatest knockout in UFC history, in my opinion. Lyoto Machida, if you don't know, actually landed a crane kick. He actually landed I'm not even kidding you, I'm not messing around, a complete Karate Kid crane kick, and knocked Randy Couture out with it completely. And the difference between the kick that he threw and the kick that Anderson Silva threw, even though they were both standing front kicks, sort of like a crescent kick with their toes bent up and hit with the ball of the foot to the chin. The difference is that the feint or the fake that Lyoto threw was basically he jumped with his arms straight out to each side. He jumps up. He goes to throw. He fakes to throw a left crescent kick or a left front straight kick, and he brings in the air. While he's in the air, he brings it down and he switches to the right foot, and he lands it and knocks Randy Couture out completely, pretty much. Even after, you see when he goes after Randy, when Randy's down, the referee just jumps on right away because Randy even just turtles from it. He was completely out. No question about it. He knew it was over, and it's just it was awesome, man. It was hilarious. It's something that I've never seen anywhere outside of a movie. I've never seen that outside of the Karate Kid. He really landed a crane kick. It was unbelievable. How did Randy Couture look? Randy looked fantastic. It was his last fight, and he was facing a bigger opponent. Machida was bigger than him, and he did really well. He tried to close the distance. He tried to grapple with him. He tried to land some good shots, and he did really, really well. I think that it's just the evolution of the sport. This might have been one of the best Randys we've ever seen, but just when Randy was years ago, when he was closer to his prime, I would say, if the guy ever had a prime. It was when he was fighting against Chuck Liddell, and Chuck Liddell beat him twice and knocked him out both times. The thing is, though, is that Machida is a much better striker than Chuck, in my opinion. Much better. Chuck Liddell does not land any kind of punches or kicks like that, and Lyoto's record is much better than Chuck's was. You see, the thing with Chuck is a lot of people don't understand. They think that Chuck was the best in the world. Chuck was never the best in the world. Chuck Liddell was never the best in the world. Never once. He was the UFC champion when Pride had the best light heavyweights. And how do I know that? Well, because he went to Pride, and Dana White said, okay, Dana White put $150,000 down on Chuck and said, I bet, the owner of Pride, $150,000 that Chuck will win. Okay, the whole middleweight, they called it a middleweight, even though it was a light heavyweight Grand Prix, and Chuck barely got out of the first round against Reem. He just narrowly beat Reem in a comeback. He was getting his ass kicked, and then he got his ass whipped by Rampage. And he didn't even make it to the finals. He didn't even get to fight Wanderlei Silva. And then when Rampage came to the UFC, he beat Chuck again. He beat him twice. So Chuck is 0-2 against Rampage. He was never the best. Okay, that's they lead you to believe he is. He wasn't. Chuck Liddell was never the best fighter at his weight in the world ever. At no point in time was he the best. Lyoto Machida, however, is a much better striker in my opinion, and we got to see it against Randy. So Randy looked fantastic. It had nothing to do with him; just had to do with how good Lyoto Machida is. You saw the game plan from Lyoto Machida, and just even in his build, and I'm the type of guy, I like to work out and that kind of stuff, and I know a lot about muscles and that kind of stuff and how everything works. You could tell that he'd been training a lot of pushing techniques to push Randy off when Randy went to clinch with him. All you had to do was look at his triceps. He looked way bigger than usual. Triceps and his shoulders. Obviously he's been doing tons and tons of pushing weights, pushing exercises, those kinds of movements to try to get his strength up there so he could push Randy off him easily. And it worked. He was way bigger than Randy. His triceps looked good, shoulders looked good, and he was able to push him off every single time. So the greatest knockout in UFC history, in my opinion. No question about it. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. The crane kick. See you guys.